Okay, so we will understand chapter 2 with an acronym called as Gita, where G stands for Guru, I for identity, T for two duties, and A, Atmaram. So this is how the chapter 4 is divided into various sections. So from 1 to 10, it talks about Arjuna's turmoil, where Arjuna is bewildered by whatever the situation he is facing. Then identity, that is soul, which is also called as Sankhya Yoga. So Krishna has explained this from 11 to 30. From 31 to 53, he explains about what are the two duties one has. And from 54 to 70, he talks about Atmaram, which is called as the men of steady wisdom or Sthita Pragya. Now, what we will do is in following slides, we will talk in deeper about what does Guru means, what is the identity, what Krishna is trying to say, what are the two duties we have, and how Sthita Pragya is. So here it is Guru. So we have seen in chapter 1, which talks about the Kurukshetra war, and Arjuna is not liking the situation. He is not happy with whatever is happening. He lost his composure. His mouth is drying up, and he is very confused. He doesn't know what to do. So in 2.7, he says to Krishna that Krishna, I am your disciple and a soul surrendered unto you. Please guide me. And that's when the instruction of Gita starts. So Arjuna says, Karpanya dosho pahata svabhava prichhami tvam dharma sambhuda cheta yashreya sanishchitam bruhitan shishyasteham shadimam tvam prapannam. So Krishna is saying that I am your Shishya and I am surrendering unto you. So Krishna is not giving here any unsolicited advice. Arjuna is surrendered. Arjuna is asking him, you advise me what to do. So that's when Krishna started Bhagavad Gita, his first instruction, which is 2.11. We will talk about that as well. So going back to Guru, so Krishna himself has mentioned about the importance of Guru in chapter 4, verse 34. So where Krishna is saying, Tatvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya updeshayanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshina. So what Krishna is saying that? You approach to a spiritual master, a learned person in a disciplic succession, where you inquire him submissively, you render service unto him, and ask about the knowledge, and that self-realized person who has seen the Tattva Darshina will impart knowledge unto you. So that's what Krishna's instruction is, that you reach out to Guru. We have teachers for all other things. Even in our material world, we have gurus, we have teachers for everything. So if we wanted to pursue spirituality, why not have a guru? That's what Krishna's instruction is, that we should have a guru. And it is also mentioned in Adi Shankaracharya's Vivek Chudamani, where he says that three things are very rare: a human birth, desire for liberation, and a guru, a great soul under whom you surrender, under whom you take shelter. So these three things are very rare, and one of them we already have. We all are human. So out of the three rarest things, we already have one. So now we got to pursue two who have not done already: the desire for liberation and to seek a shelter for a bona fide spiritual master. So this is about, in acronym Gita, the word Guru. Now comes about identity, the soul. Now, as we all know that Bhagavad Gita starts from chapter 2. Now, Krishna is starting his instruction, and what he is starting off with, you know yourself first. You understand your identity. And he talks about this in 20 verses, from 11 to 30. all he talks about is who you are. He talks about the spirit, the matter, the body, and what you need to do. So basically, that's how important the soul is. And also Prabhupada says that the ABCD of spirituality begins with when you understand, when you know who you are. So that's what Krishna is talking about from verse 11 to 30. So let's see, we obviously cannot cover 20 verses in such short time, so I have picked up few. All verses are really very important and very relishing, but I just picked up 3. So first one is 231. Dehinosmen yatha dehe kaumaram yovanam jara tatha dehantar prapter dhiras tatra namuyati. So what Krishna is saying here is an embodied soul is passing from a boyhood to youth, and you see a picture here, a human being or anybody is born, then he goes from boyhood to youth to old age, and then finally he dies. So that's how a journey of a soul is. But further to it, Krishna is saying that after that, this is not the end, as we say that we only have one life. No, we don't have one life. This life is just a dot in a journey of a soul. So what Krishna is saying, that after death, body takes another body, soul takes another body. So he compares it with giving analogy of clothes. He says, Vasasi jirnani yatha vihaya navani granati naro parani tatha sharirani vihaya jirnani anyani samyati navani dehi. So what Krishna is saying here is he's comparing this body with clothes. So he's saying that as we get rid of old clothes and take new clothes, similarly, the soul, when the body is born out, it gets rid of the old body and takes up new body. So that's what Krishna is telling, that this body whom we think that we are this body, if somebody asks us, we will say, I'm this, I'm that, all bodily designations, right? That's what in bodily conception we are in. So, but Krishna is saying it is nothing more than a cloth. Like, how can you get attached to a cloth? I mean, how much you can get attached to a cloth? After some time, you get bored and it gets worn out, right? So that's how the importance of this body is. But yes, we have to do Bhagavad Prapti in this body. So body is important as well, but we have to understand what is what. We should not be giving this as much important as a soul is. And Prabhupada gives this example of a golden cage. I don't know, I think I'm digressing a little bit, but it came to my mind, so I'm just sharing. Prabhupada gives this an example of a golden cage. So he says that we are so busy in taking care of that golden cage. We clean that, we put all that pitambari and whatnot to, chamka it so much, but we don't take care of the bird inside the cage, right? The soul. So that is what it is. The bird inside the cage is soul, so we need some soul food. And what is the soul food? This reading scriptures, chanting, sadhu sangha, all these are the food to the bird. And what is the bird analogy here is telling about our soul. So just don't take care of your body and mind. That is important, yes, but do not neglect or forget about your soul. So another example is about Chandakya Upanishad, which is similar to our Bhagavad Gita 2:23, which talks about Nenam Chindanti Shastrani Nenam Dahati Pavaka Na Chainam Kledayanti Apo Na Shoshayati Maruta. Meaning, soul cannot die, it cannot go on, nobody can kill it. So, from this particular slide, the takeaway is soul is eternal and indestructible. Nobody can destroy the very essence of yourself. Okay, so from that acronym Gita, we saw Guru, we saw identity, soul. Now we talk about 2 duties. So Krishna, what are the 2 duties Krishna is telling to Arjuna? So Krishna is saying we have two types of duty, material duty and constitutional duty. What is the material duty? That is on your bodily platform. What prescribed duties you have, what dharma you have as a mother, as a wife, as a professional. So that you have to perform with your full dedication and dire attention. So that's what Krishna is saying, that you have two duties. One is material and one is constitutional duty. So that he explains from verse 31 to 53. In that he explains about two duties. So he says in 231, Swadharmanapi chaveksha na vikampitum arhasi dharmayadhi yaddat shreyo nyat Kshatriyasya na vidyate. So what he's saying that, Arjuna, you are born in a Kshatriya body and your prescribed duty is to fight. So you get up and fight. That's the instruction Krishna is giving to Arjuna, that is your first duty. Now the second constitutional duty, that is at the spiritual level, that is at the soul level, and that is duty of everybody, no matter in what varna ashram dharma you are, it is same for everybody, and that is savai pumsa paro dharma yatho bhaktir adokshaja ahetuki apratihata yayatma suprasiddhati. So it says that the constitutional duty of everybody is doing unalloyed devotional service. And how you have to do is uninterrupted and unmotivated. You have, that is our constitutional duty, that is our dharma. Like a dharma of a sugar is sweetness, dharma of salt is being salty. So that's what dharma is. So this is what our dharma is, and our dharma is doing devotional service. Now the last section, which is from verse 54 to 72, where Krishna is explaining about Atmaram Sthita Pragya, a man of steady intelligence. So up until now, Krishna is talking about Nishkam Karma Yoga or Buddhi Yoga, where he is telling that you do work without attachment to the fruits of the work. And he is also saying, while I was studying this, I read in the chapter 2, I think 8 times Krishna was talking about Sthita Pragya. 8 or 9 verses he is talking about. That's how much he is stressing us to be equipoised, to remain steady in pains and pleasure. That's in out of 72 verse, 8 times he is talking about equanimity. So then when Arjuna was hearing all this, he asked Krishna that you are telling about all these people, about Sthita Pragya and all this, so how these people look, how they talk, how they walk, how they sit. So that's what Krishna is asking to Arjuna, that tell me more about a person who is a Sthita Pragya, who is of steady intelligence. So Krishna says in 256, Tukheshva anudvigna mana sukheshva vigata spraha vitaraga bhaya krodha sthita dhira muniruchyate. So what he is saying is, the one who is undisturbed in mind within when threefold miseries come. And what are the threefold miseries we have? Yeah. Adhyatmik, Adibhautik, Adidevik. These are the threefold miseries we have. A person who is not disturbed amidst this, who is not elated in happiness, and who is free from attachment, fear and anger, is called a sage of steady mind. So that's what Krishna is explaining to Arjuna, that these kind of people are called as Sthita Pragya, or an equipoised person, or a man with steady intelligence. He further gives an example of a turtle in 258. He says, like a tortoise or a turtle, when a danger comes, he draws all his limbs within a shell And when the danger go away, he spreads his limbs again. So similarly, men of steady intelligence do not engage in sense gratification. He withdraws his senses from sense objects. And also in Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, it talks about that person or the one who is so much into Bhakti Yoga doesn't have any desires. Anya Bhilashita Shunyam Jnana Karmedi Anavritam Krishnanushilanam Bhakti Uttamam. So that person is also called as a Sthita Pragya person. So we spoke about the entire chapter in 4 sections. We covered from verse 2.11 to 2.70. From 1 to 10 it talks about the importance of Guru. Then it talks about what the soul is. Then it talks about what are our 2 duties. And then it talks about Sthita Pragya, Atmanam. Now the takeaways. So we understood the chapter. Now there should be some life lessons from it, right? So these are some life lessons I thought I understood from whatever I read from that chapter. So first is, nothing is worthy of lamentation, tolerance, work to the best of your ability, regulative principles of freedom. Regulative principles of freedom. No God, no peace. So these are some 5 life lessons from chapter 4. It's not over yet. We will cover these in detail. So don't get too happy. Okay, so the first one, nothing is worthy of lamentation. So Krishna's first instructive verse was 2.11. And what does Krishna says? Ashochan anvashocastvam pragyavadamscha bhashase gatasunascha nanushochanti pandita. So 2.7, Arjuna surrendered to Krishna. And Krishna started giving instructions to Arjuna now. He started off with verse 2.11. And the first word of the first instructive verse is Ashochan, meaning not worthy of lamentation. So what Krishna is saying is, it's not worth lamentation. And what is not worth lamentation? Neither dead nor living. Nothing is worth lamentation. Now the last verse of the last instructive verse of Bhagavad Gita is, what is the last instruction Krishna gives to Arjuna? Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayami ma shucha. So what Krishna is saying? Ma shucha. Do not fear, do not lament. So Gita begins with do not lament. Gita ends with do not lament. Into these, everything else is detail. If Arjuna would have gotten this in the first verse, do not lament, Krishna wouldn't have spoken Bhagavad Gita. Now since Arjuna is playing a role of an intelligent disciple, he is questioning what is this, what is that, and everything. So Krishna explained him Jnana Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga. After that he said, you know what, Sarva Dharman Parityajya. And he is saying, surrender unto me and do not fear. So that's what Krishna is telling. So what do we understand? That what is the message Krishna is giving to us? That nothing is worthy of lamentation. Yes, fine. If I were to give a motivational talk, then it all makes sense. Yeah, it's very rosy. But how do you do that? We have problems, right? We get problems. Padam padam vipadam. Every single step there is a problem. So spirituality does not promise problems will end. No, problems will not end. Spirituality promises that I will elevate your consciousness so that you will see those problems teeny tiny. Prabhupada gives an example. You are standing in front of a tall building. That building looks too big to you. But if you go in an airplane and see the same building, what do you think? It looks teeny tiny, right? So spirituality promises, Krishna promises here, you elevate your consciousness. You go above from the platform of body and mind. I am not this body, I am not this mind. Elevate your consciousness. Yes, body and mind is important, but that's not what all it is. So by elevating your consciousness, problems will look small. By knowing spirit is indestructible and body is transient, nobody can touch you. See, our existence is eternal, so we want to try to save everything because our existence is eternal. Nobody can kill us. So that's the whole idea. So we always strive for survival. So when we know that nobody can harm me, I am indestructible entity, then we get some relief. And this body, nobody can save this. As we say, right, that the expiry date is fixed. We just don't know. It's going to come. So this body, nobody can save this body. Now that's fine, yes. But how do you do it? It's all good. Yeah. Body is this, soul, I am, but what? I'm listening here, I'm motivated for 30 minutes, 40 minutes, I again forget and I get back to my bodily conception of life. I get so engrossed in my petty problems, which I thought when I was in airplane that those are small, but they are not small anymore on Monday morning, right? So what do you do? So what you do is, Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita over and over again, do devotional service. Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma na shochati na kangshati sama sarveshu bhuteshu mad bhaktim labhate param. So what Krishna is saying, you cannot get rid of lamentation until you take my surrender. And here in this purport, Prabhupada says Brahma Bhuta, so the pure devotees or the one who does devotional service are already on the Brahma Bhuta platform. So when you are on a Brahma Bhuta platform, na shochati na kangshati, whatever desires we have desires for Krishna, we have spiritual desires. So those are good desires, and we cannot be desireless, as I think it says in Buddhism that you be desireless, but that's very difficult for a soul. We cannot be desireless. So rather you get good desires. You desire for Krishna, you desire for love for Krishna, you desire for devotional service, you desire for spirituality. So have those desires and lamentation. So we either hanker for something or lament for something. Those are the two problems we have. If you think closely what problems I have, either we are hankering for whatever we don't have, or either we are lamenting for whatever happened or whatever we have. So that's what, so the solution to is not lamenting. How do I not lament? Do bhakti. And when you do bhakti, your lamentation will go away. Slowly, it will take time, it's a process, but it will go away. Tolerance. So, very famous verse 2.14. Matra sparshastu kaunteya shitoshna sukha dukkada agama paino anityas tam stitikshava bharata. What Krishna is saying? Happiness and distress are non-permanent. They are like winter and summer season, and they are due to your sense perception. So, point to be noted, non-permanent. Happiness is also temporary. It's going to go away. Distress is also not permanent. It's going to go away. And he is comparing it with like winters and summer season. People from India or whoever, we come from India, a hot country, so we usually prefer summer, right? But summer doesn't last long. It goes away. So similarly, when we know that happiness and distress are temporary, that gives us some relief, right? When we are in distress, we think, oh, this is never going to end. But that's not true. Krishna is saying it will end. Sure, it will end. If not with that body, then next body, sure, yes. But yes, it will end. It will end. Because see, the beauty of material world is birth, little bit of happiness and lots of stress, and then death. So what happens is, if we are into a problem, and I think this I always say, that whenever we are in a problem, that problem looks too big to us, then what happens is another big problem comes. So this problem looks little small to us because our attention goes towards the other problem. So problems will always be there. That's the constant thing. So tolerance is necessary, because we want to keep small things small so that we can focus on big thing. Keep main thing the main thing. I think Vaisheshika Prabhu says that. So now Krishna is not telling Arjuna to tolerate everything, right? What Krishna is telling Arjuna? Get up and fight, right? He's not telling that you just sit and tolerate everything, the injustice of your brothers and everybody, you just tolerate and you don't do anything, Arjuna. No, Krishna is saying that you get up and fight. So what is the message then? It seems a little contradictory, right? At one point Krishna is saying tolerate, and at one point he's saying get up and fight. So what Krishna is saying is, if you have a higher goal, then whatever small problems you get in that higher goal, tolerate those problems. Don't complain for that. Do not complain for small petty problems. Keep your focus on your big goal. So that's what Krishna's message here is, when tolerance. And in order to tolerate, we should know what to tolerate and what to fight for, right? And for that we need wisdom. And from where do we get that wisdom? We have to hold that thought, because it's coming in the next slide. So that's the serenity prayer, right? Give me courage to change what I can change, and give me wisdom to know what I can change and what I cannot change. So that wisdom, from where that wisdom will come, because Krishna is not advocating here that tolerate each and everything. He is saying tolerate few things, and somewhere he's giving an instruction, fight, right? So we need some kind of wisdom, some kind of intelligence to know where to fight and where to tolerate. Also, one more very important thing in tolerance is you reduce the working frame. If you think about what will happen to me 1 year down the line, 5 years down the line, then you will be very distressed. Rather, you shorten your working frame. Take 1 day at a time. If that also feels too much, take 1 hour at a time. Or if that feels too short to you, take 1 week at a time. And in that, what you have to do is, you don't have to sit idle. Idle mind is devil's workshop, so you don't have to sit idle. Rather, you have to focus on your main goal. You have to keep, and when you have a main goal or a meaningful purpose, then these small pains and pleasure will not overwhelm you. The overwhelm, you get overwhelmed when you just look, when your vision is too small. But if you keep your vision broadened, then pains and pleasure will not impact you so much. Also, Stephen Covey talks about work in a circle of influence rather than concern. We might have a lot of concerns, but we should know what is my circle of influence, whatever I can influence. So you need to work. Again, you need wisdom to know what I can change. So that we will understand from where to get that wisdom, in which shop the wisdom is available, and from where to buy that wisdom, right? But while talking about tolerance, this is very nice verse in Bhagavatam which talks about tatte nukampam susumekshamanam bhunjaneva kritam vipakam. So what this verse, this is very, very beautiful verse. What it talks about is, you wait for the causeless mercy. So it talks about in the devotional service, but that's what I was saying. Do not wait idle. In devotional service, you do your devotional service and patiently wait and endure the reactions of your past misdeeds. And then what will happen? Surely eligible for liberation, for it has become the right, because it is your rightful claim. What does it mean by rightful claim? Meaning, tattenu kampam, you are sitting patiently doing devotional service and enduring the pains or enduring the reactions, but you have not left your devotional service. You are paying obeisances. You are what else? Offering to God and everything. Basically, you are still in your devotional service, then liberation is your rightful claim. So how can we understand this is, father's property. A son has the rightful claim of a father's property. What he has to do is just be alive, and eventually he will get it, right? So similarly, if we be in Krishna consciousness, if we are sincere in Krishna consciousness, Krishna's abode is not far away. That is our rightful claim. For that, we have to be in Krishna consciousness. We have to follow Krishna's advice. We have to follow what Krishna has to say to us. So this is about tolerance. Next is work to the best of your ability. So here Krishna talks about, he is recommending us to work with detachment. He's saying that you work with the best of your ability, but with detachment. Do not get focused on your goals too much. He talks about this in verse 247. Karmanye vadhikarasti ma phaleshu kadachan ma karma phal heturbhur ma te sangostva akarmani. So here he is talking about detachment, and detachment is like a safety rail that prevents outer disappointment from causing inner discouragement. So detachment is in a way good. Imagine if you are too attached to your goal, if you get failure, you are too bogged down by it. And few people, I don't know now, but when I was in India during my school years, we used to hear in newspapers or read in news, see in news and read in newspaper that a kid who got, he flung the exam and he committed suicide, right? So these are why, because they are too attached to their goal. He had some goal in mind that I had to do this and I have to do this, and some sort of big attachment. And so that is the downside of not getting attached to your goal. So people might ask that, फिर हम गोल के बारे में सोचे ही ना? No, you keep your goal, have goal in mind, but not get attached to it. Rather focus on what I need to do to achieve that goal, rather than just getting too attached to the goal. That's what we are talking, that we need detachment. Again, now we need detachment also, and we need wisdom also. We spoke in the previous slide that for tolerance we need wisdom. Now from where this wisdom and detachment will come? Krishna, I don't know whether Krishna or this is who's talking about in Canto 1 chapter 2. They say that Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojita Janayati Yasu Vairagyam Jnanam Cha Yad Ahetukyam. So what it says, wisdom and knowledge are the byproducts of bhakti. Ahetukam, it comes causelessly. So when you do devotional service, the wisdom to tolerate, to know what to tolerate and what to fight for, and detachment. Why do we need detachment? To work with best of your ability and do not get attached to your goals. So that will automatically come with bhakti, the devotional service. So, and also we are not the only one who is responsible for getting the result of our action. There are 5 factors which Krishna already explained in Bhagavad Gita. the person who does the action, the place where the action has happened, the effort put by the doer, that is our effort, and the fourth one is instrument used, and God. So these are the 5 factors that determines what result we will get for an action. Okay, so this is very interesting. This is from 264, Regulative Principles of Freedom. So Prabhupada in this verse talks about regulative principles of freedom. So if we are, at one point we are talking about regulative principles, rules, regulations, and we are saying it is freedom. What does it mean? So it says that these regulative principle protects you from going too down in the material modes of nature. It protects you. So we can take it in this way: a person who has godless consciousness, or one who is too much engrossed in material pains and pleasure, for him these rules and regulations can be deprivation. Don't take tea. Seriously, man. Onion, garlic, they are good for your health. We were told that don't take onion and garlic. These are the rules. So you might feel bound by those. These feels deprivation if your goal is not to achieve Krishna prema. But when your goal is higher, when your goal is to achieve Krishna prema, then these goals are a fence. These goals feels like they are protecting you. We have been told that don't watch too much TV because it corrupts your consciousness. Endlessly scrolling the Instagram reels. It reminds us that no, we should not be doing that. So these rules are beautiful. They protect you from going too down. And they protect us from going too down in 3 modes of material nature. So why do we digress from here and there? Because these modes pull us. When we are in mode of passion, we act one way. When we are in mode of ignorance, we act one way. So the whole idea is we wanted to transcend about these modes of material nature so that we can do bhakti easily. So let's see what the slide has to say. When we strive to regulate ourselves, putting aside our aversions and attachment, we attract Krishna's mercy. So why they are saying we have to stay away from attachment and aversion? So I read somewhere they say that when you go above, when you don't worry about your likes and dislike and just do what is needed, your 90% of spirituality is done. And why so? If you are attached to something, maximum your mind is occupied with that thought, what you are attached with. And whatever you are averse with, same applies to that. I don't like this person, I don't like this situation. All the time your mind is occupied in those thoughts. So the idea is, I don't want attachment, I don't want aversions, because they both are 2 sides of the same coin. And why I don't want is because I want my mind to be free of attachment and aversion so that I can make space for Krishna. So that's why attachment and aversions are said to be avoided in spirituality. And here in this 264, Krishna says that raga dvesha vimuktastu vishayan indriyas charan atma vishayar vidhyatma prasadam adhigacchati. So when we take care of attachments and aversions, we attract Krishna's mercy, the grace of Lord. And what is that grace of Lord? What prasadam do we get? Purity. That's the prasadam Krishna gives us when we stay away from attachment and aversions, and purity is the force. The purpose of various scriptural rules is to prevent the consciousness from getting entangled at the material level. That's what we spoke, that we don't want to get into the 3 modes of material level, and to help raise to the spiritual level. And how do we do it again? $1 million question, right? But not really, because the same thing we are talking from past 30 minutes devotional service. So what it says, 14:26. Mamacha yo vyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunana samtiyatan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. So what it says? One who engage in full devotional service, unfailing in all circumstances, at once transcends the modes of material nature and thus come to the level of Brahman. And did not we see that one who is on at the platform of Brahman, na shochati na kanshati, Brahma bhuta prasannatma. So that's what it came back to this same circle. That when you do devotional service, you transcend about three modes of material nature and you attain Brahman and Brahma bhuta prasannatma. So if you attain Brahma state, then there is no lamentation. It's a blissful situation. Last slide. No God, no peace. No God, no peace. So what? Yeah, this is again a very beautiful verse. Is 266, where Krishna says, "Na asti buddhir ayuktasya, na cha yuktasya bhavana, na cha bhavayata shantir, ashantasya kutha sukham." So Krishna is saying that if you have not learned to discipline your mind and senses, you cannot focus on God. If you cannot focus on God, there is no peace. And where is happiness if there is no peace? So all these higher days, the building block or the foundation is peace. You need to be peaceful to enjoy your food also. If you are too distressed, you cannot enjoy your food. So peace is not the higher goal. Peace is just the foundation. It is just the building block. So what Krishna is saying here is, if there is no peace, what are you talking about happiness? There is no happiness. First you get the peace right. Get your peace in place. So how do you get the peace? That Krishna already explained in 5:29, right? So the whole idea, again, the same thing. From past 30 minutes, same thing. Answer to everything is same, devotional service. And in this day and age, what is the prescribed method of devotional service? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This is the only devotional service for this day and age. Very, very simple. So if you do it slowly, eventually everything will fall in place. You get peace, and once you get peace, bliss, happiness, whatever you talk will be yours. So, material desires and all those things, I don't want to talk about that. I think we are at time. The peace formula Krishna has already given in 5:29. Bhoktaram yagya tapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram suhridam sarvabhutanam gyatva mam shanti mrachati. If you know this, you know me, you will get peace. And there is one very nice story about bee. If we have 2 minutes, I would just like to talk about that. So a bee is sitting on a flower to relish its nectar. And as the evening sets in, the flower is about to close. Bee knows that it will close at night, but still it is too attached to the nectar. And it thinks that maybe I still have some time, I have time. And she still continues to relish the nectar. But eventually evening sets in, night comes, and the flower closes. Bee is still inside. Now, point to be noted, bee is not something who is very weak. Bee can pierce through the wood. That's how strong bee is. But still, due to attachment, that bee is trapped in a soft petals, in the soft flower, because of the attachment. And what happens? At night, the elephant comes, pluck that lotus flower, and the bee dies. So what do you think what we are talking about here? About us? That's how attached we are. we are attached with this happiness, the material happiness. इसमें मिलेगी, इसमें मिलेगी, इसमें मिलेगी. No, 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 no. If I get this big car, I will be super happy. Then after that, I promise Krishna, after that, I will be super happy. I would not need anything. But that will never happen. Why? Because Satchidanand, the eternal soul, we need something permanent. We need something permanent to be happy. These temporary happiness will not satisfy us, will never satisfy. We tried enough, not even in this life. And we all, we don't have kids here, but we all have enough life to know that we are still hankering for one thing or the other and other. We still did not realize that happiness is not there. We are looking at the wrong place. Krishna gave a disclaimer already, Dukhalayam Ashashvatanam, so you cannot look for sukh here, right? So, but we are still looking, we are still hankering, we still have some last hope that there will be some happiness. So, Radhanath Swami very beautifully says that you can come into spirituality only when you exhaust all your options. Not exhaust all your options, but he says that if you are too much demotivated with your material life, then only, or there are some Brahma Bhutas, Prasannatmas here who already realize this, but a normal soul like me, until you exhaust all your options, spirituality is very difficult. So that's what we all think, that there will be some happiness, but trust Krishna, there is no happiness here. So we'll just do a quick 2-minute summary. So we talk about 2 chapters in 4 sections with an acronym Gita, Guru, Identity, 2 Duties, and Asthita Pragya. Then we took some lessons from Gita. What were those lessons? Tolerance, then do your best, no lamentation, regulative principles of freedom, no God, no peace. And this was my small attempt to show this chapter. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhayavacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Hare Krishna. Any comments, any corrections? I am not qualified for any questions, sorry. So if you have any comments, most welcome. I don't know if I can answer anything. Yes, Prabhuji, I know you everything. You are just being so humble, so please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mataji. So, very nice presentation. So, what I wanted to know, we all know this, right? That if we are detached from the material things, we will get to go to abode of Lord. Everything we know about Dhruv Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj. So where they risked their life and to get the Lord. And they were determined and they eventually got it. We also have read the scriptures, and Prabhupada has mentioned in all scriptures that if you are detached, materially detached, we will get the abode of Lord Sri Krishna. In spite of knowing so many instructions, most of us, we are at a material level. Agree? So, yes. In spite of knowing everything, in spite of having so much of knowledge, we are still unable to practice. Put it in meaning, we do not walk the talk, right? 90% of us in this room. So how can we put it in how can we make sure that, so that's the question.
Yes, Prabhuji. So this is the question, $1 million question, and very difficult to answer. So first of all, conditioning is there, so it is very difficult for us because we don't know how many million births we are doing the same thing. So that's why the conditioning. So we have to hear it over and over again, so that this conditioning will go away. That's what came to my mind, and that why we cannot do this. Second is how to do is chanting, devotional service, sadhu sangha, sarva shastra kahe, lava matra sadhu sangha, sarva siddhi hoye. So devotional service, we cannot do it alone. We need devotee association, and we have to follow the process. It's a process, it will take time. I mean, that's what I could understand, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji, you are right. Actually, we are in this material world since 2000 trillion years now. 6 Brahmas have gone and 7 Brahma. The question is, we have gone through so many cycles. Satyuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga. Still we are detached, right?
Attached.
Attached. So yes. Actually, you said it right, so thank you for answering.
Yeah, right. And I had this question as well, but now I think that we are getting rid of all this in just one lifetime. That's what Prabhupada promised, if you follow everything, whatever he is saying. So imagine millions of births, that kachara we have collected, that we are getting rid of in just one life. So it's a bonus offer, I think. It's definitely a win-win, I would think. Otherwise, if you imagine million births we have to do bhakti, then I think it would have been a business of, not a good business. But they are promising that it can be done in one lifetime. So I think it's a profitable thing. But if we follow sincerity is the thing.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.